Hi, I'm Jennifer Folsom. I'm Summit's Chief of Corporate Development. Welcome to another episode of Complexity Simplified. Today I'm joined by Dr. Albert Lee, Summit's founding partner. He's here to talk about a new blog series that's just finished and it's posted on our website. Albert, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you, Jen.
So Albert, tell me a little bit about this blog series.
Well, the blog series is called Finding Strength in Number, a little bit tongue-in-cheek title. But at the very, very core of this blog, we're going to actually demonstrate how we actually have seen instances where lawyers, litigators, can use statistics to win their cases, or at least not to lose it.
Now, I know the first post came out earlier this month. Can you tell me a little bit more about that one?
Yes, well, it served as an introductory post to foreshadow, some of the topics that we will be talking about. But substantively, we also introduce a very versatile statistical analytical method called regressions.
It's been a long time since I've taken that class in college. Can you remind me what a regression is?
Well, regression essentially is a mathematical formula. You have something that you want to find out that is called a dependent variable, and you hypothesize that there are certain factors that would influence that dependent variable. Those things are called predictor or independent variables. And what regression does is it calibrates that equation to find out how individual factors would have a bearing or influence the outcome.
And so how do these litigators use regression analysis then?
Oh, in a variety sorts of ways. In cases where liability needs to be determined. Say, for example, I want to establish whether or not genders matter to wage. Then I would use regression.
Oh, right, pay equity, right?
Pay
it's in the news everywhere.
Absolutely.
Got
so I would use an equation to control for particular individual's experience, how many years of schoolings that he or she has, title maybe, industry, and then at the end I would also estimate the impact of the gender of the subject to establish whether or not gender has anything to do with wage discrepancy, controlling for everything else. That is a beautiful way to determine whether or not you have some type of causality of one factor influencing the other.
Got it. So that makes sense for liability cases. What other kinds of ways do litigators use regression analysis?
Well, I have seen a number of cases where they do an estimation called the butfor analysis. And the butfor analysis is essentially trying to calculate a situation except for certain types of behavior.
Oh, that's the butfor.
That's exactly right.
Okay,
That's
it.
the butfor. Except for that type of behavior, what the outcome would have been. So this is very, very popular with antitrust cases. We would have a period of time where we observe there is no collusion. And then a period of time where we actually observe collusion. We will see actually how prices change. And then we could remove the factor, the collusion period, and actually calculate, except for collusion, what prices would have been. It's a very powerful way to establish damages. For example, there's a whole host of cases that I actually have seen, and some of which I participated myself, where I relied on butfor analysis using regressions.
That makes sense. So you can find that blog along with the rest of the series on Summit's website. Albert, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Jan.
This has been another episode of Complexity Simplified.